Welcome to Sing Scrub. It is Shelby here with Tyler, and today we have softball who is dominating their way all the way to number 1 in the country where they belong. Shut up, haters. I know you're here. I know you're here and you're watching and you're probably going to comment in the comments. Thanks for stopping by. Number 1 where they belong. They're dominating in every fashion. 7 straight run rules. We're going to talk about 3 of those, the 3 most recent of those when they swept BYU at home in their last home games for a while. They're now on the road for the next 3 weeks or have an off week mixed in there. A lot of road games ahead. We're going to go through all that stuff. We have the cinematic recap that the team puts together to show you to get you right in the mood. And then we're going to get in to the basketball portal, which is picking up quickly, Tyler. I put out an article today on Red Raider Sports. There is a visitor on campus today for the Lady Raiders. And spoiler, we'll talk about it. We'll drop her name later in this episode, but you're going to have to wait till then. Or if you're watching this in the future, you can just scroll ahead, but don't do that. A leading scorer for a Big 12 team. There's your hint if you can guess throughout the episode, or just go read the article. Sorry, online. That's a great player to start off your portal with, and I'm just telling you right now, they're not done yet. They have some really good players, and if they get the ones they're after, we're not just talking an NCAA tournament, bubble team, eke in there stuff. It's contending at the top of conference and maybe more. I'll leave it there. Men's team, in Grant McCassin we trust. Everybody's gone. He's going to build up the cupboard. We'll talk a little bit about that as well. And then just spring sports in general, if we're going to count basketball as the spring and a fall sport, 6 of them are ranked in the top 25 across campus. So it's a good time to be a Red Raider, Lady Raider. Recruits, if you're listening, just go ahead and commit. Why would you want to be anywhere else? Everybody's winning on this campus. So just come be a winner, Tyler. That's what I say.
Literally, come be a winner. Yeah, super exciting stuff from softball as usual. I'm glad they're back at number 1. Softball America, I have beef with you. I don't understand y'all's reasoning and logic, but it's fine. It's fine. I
do, but also
whatever. Just compare the record and who's in 4 out of the 5 top stats in college softball in the top 5. But anyway. Yeah, the only team. But yeah, and then also, the portal is really heating up. I think it's absolutely crazy how the championship happened Sunday, and then come Monday, everything has just all blown up. I think there's more than 2,000 people in the portal, and there's only 4,000 spots available in all of Division I. So it's just nuts how this is all working out.
Yeah. I have that list going, as I said in the last episode I was talking about, and it's just gotten so long that even my database can't keep up. So I'm having to take out the people that have shitty stats. I'm sorry, you get kicked out after I vet them. I can't even list them all anymore. But I'll keep that. That'll get a lot easier to manage once a lot of people start committing, because I'll take them all out, and then we can do a best available type list. Maybe I'll put it out there. But yeah, it's insane right now. And they changed the dates, as we've talked about, and I think that's better in some ways, but it does create this hyper whirlwind of this. It's like the championship didn't happen, and before it was kind of trickling into it, and visits were already happening, and so it was a slow ease, and now it's everybody all at once. And so it's been a bit crazy. I would actually like to get coaches' takes on this, because, you talked to them before this happened, what they thought of the new rule, and a lot of them were yeah, I guess it's better. Still going to be crazy, but now that they've experienced it, I wonder if any of them are actually, forget this, right. Everybody's tampering anyway, just go back to the 15th of March, it's fine. But it'll be interesting to see how that goes. Another big NCAA rule change could be coming. That was the news that broke today, obviously the executive order last week, but now the NCAA itself is getting a committee together next week to talk about the old 5-and-5 rule that we have been on top of for 2 years on our show. Y'all are well abreast on this topic, but the NCAA kept kicking the can down the road, and instead of doing it last July when everybody was yes, please do it. Nobody's against this rule. I don't know if anybody is, except for maybe the athletes that are trying to be there for longer than 5 years, but for the most part, schools are all on board, and the NCAA is nah, we're just not going to do it. Now they're forced into it. Potentially going to move to 5-and-5. Basically, you have 5 years to play 5 years, no waivers if you get hurt. That's why they're giving you 5 years. You get to play 4 years plus 1 injured year, where you sit out like you normally would have anyway. Just not going to call it a red shirt. You just have those 5 years. Also, an age limit on it at 19 being the starting date, or when you graduate high school, whichever comes first. That should prevent a lot of the 26-year-old European pros that are coming over, because they'll just be too old. Or maybe even the 23-year-old ones, they could play for 1 year, but not more. Stuff like that.
Right.
That should kind of cut down on some of that. The G Leaguers and things like that. That's kind of the motive, because they can't. They're doing their best to put in parameters that can't be taken to court on. because they can't really say you can't come here as a G Leaguer or whatever, a pro player, because they've already done it. But they can put age limits, and so that will cut down on some of it. That's the idea. I don't see why it's not going to get pushed forward. The question then becomes, do seniors this year get grandfathered in? Do we get another year of Bailey Maupin? I don't know. The WNBA draft is next week. I think she could at least get in their new G League developmental league that the WNBA is having, and that might be her plans. I have no idea what her plans are, but we got like 5 DMs about Bailey Maupin today, and I get that. Trust me, we're all wondering it, but I don't think you can necessarily bank on that. But if that time comes, then if she wants to come back to college basketball or even some other seniors, I'm sure the team would listen to them, particularly Bailey Maupin. But we'll talk about that another time if it comes to it. But again, it is just 5 and 5, so none of the fifth-year seniors that were on this team, Snudda, Danae, Jada, they wouldn't be eligible anyway unless they add an injury waiver or something crazy. But all that should go down next week, and we'll get more information. That was the biggest question we had in the DMs beside the portal, which we're going to talk about later. Before then, though, softball. Let's show you the cinematic recap that the team put together.
Kennedy puts her away. There's 1,000 for Nigeria Kennedy. Here's the throw. Not in time.
Inside the park home run right there. We did a fun little interview with Jackie after the game. You can go find that video on the Singing Scarlet's socials. She joked that Jerry was racing her down the third baseline, so she had to beat him. I asked Jerry after the game, Jackie said you were racing her, and he said, my age, I don't race anybody. So it was funny. I always like getting to chat with him, so you can go watch that. KT things.
Sends a rocket to left. Goodbye. Spearman way back into left field and gone. And Terry launches to left center. Swing and a miss, strike 3.
And Mia Williams with her 14th home run of the season. And a throw down to second. It's in time. But Caitlin Terry comes home to score. Jazzy Burns will touch them all. Diving in safely.
Logan Holloman, torpedo of speed. What a slide. What a slide from her. What a slide from Caitlin Terry. Again, I talked to Caitlin Terry about that slide afterwards. Basically, if anything is intriguing to the fans, I'm going to drag one of those players, hopefully willingly, out of the dugout after the game to talk about it, because people find that stuff intriguing. And KT, of course, just gave like the most basic answer ever, because it's light work to her that she's been doing that slide since she was like 10 years old, and she doesn't think about it. But they're just elite athletes, and they do elite things like that all the time. It looks spectacular to everybody else, and they're just like, yeah, I don't really think about it, but yeah, I've been doing it my whole life, basically, was her answer. But always good to get their insight. She did that. Des Spearman, we talked to her too. She hit a moonshot like almost over the left field netting, and if you've never been out to the ballpark, the netting is very high. Like very high. You have to hit it very high and far for it to be on trajectory to go over that. I know that there's TrackMan at the field because I see the little box, and I just really wish we got TrackMan data on these home runs. I know that there's somebody sitting in that press box with a computer that's getting it all relayed to them, because I know this because I did that job once upon a time when I worked in baseball, and so I know that there's somebody in there doing it. I'm about to just go sit next to them so I can read the home run data. I don't know why the team doesn't put it out. Maybe they don't want it out. Maybe they don't want people to know, but I would love to know how far that ball was going to go, and TrackMan will tell you that. But anyway, things that we wonder. They just dominated this, as they should. That's the thing is, like, yeah, BYU's doesn't have a great record. Now they have played the top 4 teams in the Big 12 standings all in a row, so I would expect BYU to start winning some games now that they're getting to the rest of the conference. But, yeah, they're not the most competitive team, especially pitching-wise. But you're not just winning. Like, that's my thing. It's like, if we were just skirting by, it'd be one thing. They are murdering people. Run-ruling everyone. Breaking all sorts of records. They're 2 runs away, Tyler, 2 runs away from matching last year's entire season total for runs scored.
It's crazy.
And it's April 8th as we're recording this. Like, they're on the OU level when OU was in the Big 12 and doing this to the Big 12. That argument cracks me up. They're like, you don't play anybody in the Big 12. I'm like, yeah, well, OU freaking won 4 national championships in a row playing in the Big 12, so I think it worked out okay for them.
Right.
Like, and yeah, they had Texas then, but Texas Tech wasn't Texas Tech then. You know what I mean? Like, it all evens out. Arizona wasn't
Right.
here. Like, there's still the same amount of like talented teams. It's just different teams. So, anyway, we can rant about that, but I'll stop for now. People just need to chill. Like, Texas Tech is absolutely one of the top teams in the country. Are they far and away better than like the other top teams? No, I don't think so. They're going to be really close games when they get to play those teams, as they should be. But they're a top team in the country. Like, these people are outrageous.
I think it's actually going to be really interesting. You know, hopefully we just went out, but I think it's going to be interesting with the conversation because right now, like, they're really teetering us on that 8 or 9 seed line, which I think is very low, but it's all going to come down for us as an eye test. So it's really good that we're getting these run rule victories and that we're absolutely obliterating these opponents because you don't want to play that close because it could very well be, you get to host the second weekend or you don't get to host the second weekend because unlike rankings, that's not how it works. I mean, we saw last year, OU didn't get the number 1 overall. They gave it to A&M. So it's all based on all those metrics and everything. And I know our coaches and our team knows that. So as long as these run rule victories just keep happening and we just keep, putting it down, then I have no doubt that we are for sure we know we're the top team in the country, but one of the top 8 teams and we'll get to host. But it's just crazy because it's like in less than 2 months, we're already in postseason softball. Like it's creeping up. Yeah. Less than a month, really, when we get to the Big 12 tournament.
They'll be in Oklahoma State or Oklahoma City for the Big 12 tournament. But yeah, I don't see a world in which they don't put the number 1 team in the nation as a top 8 seed, even if their RPI is not in the top 8. That's why I'm not a big rankings person at all. I don't care about them.
Right.
Like, I don't get riled up. I mean, being number 1's cool, but it doesn't really move me. But because of their RPI, it is good that the eye test, the people, the human voters, if you will, are putting them number 1, because then the humans in the committee are going to have to be like, okay, do we want to look like the jackasses of the sport that don't know what we're talking about when everybody else all season's been voting them number 1, even though these computers say different, right? And some of the computer metrics have us in the top 8. It's the RPI that we're hovering. And also, it's going to go up because we have been playing a lot of the bottom teams in the Big 12, which also means our schedule is about to get harder. We're going to have to win the games. But, you have at least 6 games against top 30 RPI teams coming up. Maybe more, because there's other teams that are hovering on that edge. And then you have the Big 12 tournament where your schedule, you don't play Kansas, right, in the regular season, and you don't play Oklahoma State, who are 2 of the top teams in the Big 12 this year.
Right.
And you avoided them, which is, for us, we don't like that because we want the best teams. So there's a chance you'll play at least one of them, hopefully 2 of them at the Big 12 tournament, and you'll get a chance to add to your resume. So they have plenty of opportunities, and I think that RPI will just keep eking up if they take care of business. But that's the thing with this team, and they know that. If they slip up 1 or 2 times against someone they shouldn't, they won't just fall in the RPI. Like, the human voters will be like, okay, thank God we can finally stop pretending that we want to vote for Texas Tech. We'll be like number 9, 10 before as quickly as they can do it. But for now, they're where they deserve to be, and I can't complain about that. So don't make me complain about it.
For sure.
I'll go on a good rant or 2.
We will go on a rant. But yeah, game 1, they won 11-1. Nyjah got her 1,000th career strikeout, which the cool thing about that is there's only 2 active players, she's one of them, to actually achieve that. So pretty cool stuff from Nyjah.
Johnson at Belmont?
Yes, Maya Johnson at Belmont. Nyjah, it was really interesting. ESPN today released a Women's College World Series contender article, and they kind of broke down Nyjah Kennedy and how much different she kind of looks this year compared to other things and things like that. So I thought one thing that was cool is that, first of all, she's only pitched 92 innings. Last year, she was already at 117. So clearly, Caitlin Terry has been super beneficial. She's been dominating left-handed.
Run ruling everybody, so she's only pitching 5 innings versus 7.
Yes, literally. She's not having. Yeah, we've only had 1 win at home that's not been a run rule, which is pretty cool on the season. That was that one UNT game earlier in the year. She's now.
I wasn't there, so that's why.
Oh, sorry, that's why. That's exactly why.
Neither of us did. Senior day for basketball, right?
That's right. Yeah. Sorry, girls. We will make sure that won't happen again.
We'll take that. We'll take that on us.
We'll take that on us. But yeah, she's dominating left-handed batters. The best ever in her career with only a 459 on-base slugging percentage. Her strikeout rate has risen, and I think if y'all been looking at the stats compared to last year, she's getting double-digit strikeout games against these opponents. But her walk rate and home run rate has has increased a little bit. But again, that's just kind of how it's been playing out to be. It looks like that right now, and I'm sure the coaches are playing with all sorts of things. But right now, all of the balls that have been in play have kind of been in that upper right zone. That have been put into play, but for right-handed batters, it's literally all or nothing. So it's something like with her rise ball, like if it goes too much over the plate, they're going to get a hit over it. But if she gets her rise ball perfect, as she tends to do it, then these right-handed batters are striking out. But the lefties are struggling. But the right-handed batters, it seems to be, that's where these kind of like odd home runs have kind of been coming from. But she's still, like they made it very clear in the article though, like Nyjah Kennedy is still the best pitcher right now in college softball. Like her stats are still insane compared to other people. So, but I just thought it was interesting because I know there's some people that are asking questions like, oh, it seems like she is letting this up more. True, but she's also striking out way more, and she's also getting these left-handed batters not on base as what it used to be in her career. And she's also taking less innings. So it's just kind of like, it's all balancing out basically. It's so nice to have a 2A system right now.
Yeah, and she had a 1.11 ERA by the end of last year. Now it was below 1 before that game 3 of the series where we sent her out there tired or whatever. But still, she's not that far off from that. She's like 1-3 or something right now.
Yeah, and had Arizona not happened, that one weird game, like she would have been, she would be maybe sub-zero. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's just like that came later and earlier in the year. But yeah, it's just taking her again. She didn't throw a whole offseason. Like it takes time. There was an injury, and she's still the best pitcher in the world. And one that's close. Well, maybe not the world, but in college, obviously there's some pros out there. Don't want to disrespect anybody, but in her age bracket, she's dominating right now. And then there's KT right behind her that's doing some pretty good stuff herself. So you can see them maybe starting to use Nyjah more, and we might start seeing Sam more as like the midweek pitcher. And you might start seeing more Nyjah Friday, KT Saturday, Nyjah Sunday, or Nyjah and KT Sunday. Maybe they'll mix Sam into that. Well, that's what Glasgow's been talking about. Not because they don't trust Sam. They love Sam. But they're trying to win a World Series, and they're trying to get Nyjah and KT both used to coming in on relief. That's why he brought Nyjah in the other day on Sunday in a spot where she could come in relief and start getting used to that, because that's how they plan to use her and KT in the postseason, is kind of to really go, with your two horses in the postseason like people do. But yeah, Sam's been doing her job for sure. Getting innings, getting better each game, he said. But that might just be something you see. Who knows? It's Jerry Glasgow. Sometimes we hear things and then it doesn't happen. But for now, it sounded like maybe we'd start seeing less of Sam as far as like the exclusive Sunday starter like she's been. And they're going to start mixing in KT or Nyjah so they can get used to that role, pitching twice in a weekend. Because they haven't been. They've been just chilling. Just light work once a weekend. But they got to get them ready for postseason play. So something to watch there. But Sam Lincoln's going to still have a very, very, very important role in this team, because they have a ton of midweeks coming up if that is going to be something she does for them. And they're very good teams. Like, I could argue some of the midweeks are better than Utah.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like, honestly. So Sam's got to be on her A game if that's the plan, but we'll see. But yeah, Nyjah Kennedy is the GOAT for a reason. So anyone that has a 1.2 whatever ERA that she has right now, and people are like, oh my God, what's wrong? I'm like, she leads the Big 12 in strikeouts, might lead them in ERA now. Top 10 in the nation in ERA. Like, she's number 7.
12 pitcher of the week, like, just casually won that 4 times.
So spoiled. Like, so spoiled. I enjoy watching Nyjah Kennedy pitch every single time. Like, I'm never going to get over it. I'm already miss it, and it's not even gone yet.
Literally. Yeah, it's been super fun. And yeah, she did great. She had 11 Ks, 0 earned runs. So the 1 run in the first game wasn't even earned. Yeah. And that, she looked really great on Friday. Was this the game where Jackie Liss had the inside the park homer?
Yeah, she had 2 homers. She had inside the park and then a walk-off grand slam. This is also the game you talked about, the unearned run, is in the first inning, back-to-back people got on base, and that's when they scored. It was like back-to-back doubles, but one had an error where Spearman dove for the ball and it bounced out of her glove. And then Spearman later struck out at the plate, and Glasgow gave a little tough love coaching to Des Spearman and benched her. And he brought in Logan Holloman, and he said this himself after one of the games. He's like, my coaching staff thought maybe I was coaching her too hard, but I thought she responded pretty well today. And that would have been the next game as we get into it, which she does. So it's just good to see stuff like that for sure. But yeah, it was an unearned run. It was a fluke thing. They got back-to-back hits, and then they didn't get a hit the rest of the game.
Funny how that works. Yeah, we absolutely dominated. And, you know, for a while, it looked like we might have had to go the full 7 innings. And then our girls put up 6 runs in the bottom of the 5th bottom of the 6th to walk it off. I mean, that is just incredible stuff right there, to walk it off on a grand slam like that. Be like, oh no, we're not going to play an extra inning. Like, we're going to take a break. And yeah, they absolutely dominated that game. Lauren Allred had a stolen base in that. Although the stolen base party was on Sunday, that we'll talk about later. But
Yeah.
It was a good first game, though.
They were. Yeah, and I asked Taylor Panel on Sunday, because they run rule every game, so it's all relevant to this. But what you're talking about is, like, they just decided to end the game. And I asked her, I was like, do y'all, like, I got talking about that in the dugout, like, hey, guys, let's just finish it here. And she's like, oh, yeah, absolutely. Like, she's like, we want to run rule games. Because there's a lot of talk out there, like, don't they wish they were just playing more innings? Like, they can't put up the stats that they could be putting up. Imagine what they'd be doing if they're playing 7 innings. And she's like, no, we don't like we want to finish the games early. We want to have less innings on our body, less innings on our pitchers. Like, we want to finish it, go home. Get out here and go home. That's just this team's mindset. They have a championship mindset. Like, they're focused on winning the whole thing. They've already been All-Americans. They've already done the put up crazy stats, and they're still putting up crazy stats even in 5 innings, to be clear. They don't care about all that stuff. They care about what can we do to put ourselves in the best position come May, June, so we can win a championship. And not having to play 7-inning games 4 or 5 times a week is better on their bodies. And so they're all about the run rules. So no, they're not upset. There's like people are like, God, I bet they don't like this. Like, I bet they wish they were playing harder competition so they could play 7-inning games. And I'm just like, I bet they wish they were playing harder competition because they're competitors, but they would still be wanting to run rule those people too. I guarantee it.
Yeah, I mean, and run rules were common in the World Series even like last year. Like, your elite teams were run ruling people. I mean, freaking when Panel and Mia Williams are going up against each other. I mean, Florida got run ruled in the first round of the thing. So like, yeah, like, I mean, this is a common thing. You don't want to keep playing.
Have a different answer to that question. No, I'm kidding. I love Mia. We haven't gotten to talk to Mia yet, but she's just so chill. Someday
we'll get her. Get her on the thing. And then, yeah, we move into game 2, 10-1 win. This one, Caitlin Terry led with 4 Ks, had 2 hits. This was the Caitlin Terry. She did not get a hit. I don't know if her streak had ended beforehand, but she didn't get a hit in game 1. That's when it ended. Okay, so game 2. They wouldn't
throw her a damn strike. I was so frustrated for her. She took like 3 walks because she's such a good hitter. She won't chase anything, and they wouldn't throw her a strike. Even that last at bat, she took a walk. That's how you know that she's in it for the right reasons. Don't tell KT that she's out there chasing stats or whatever. She could have swung at a ball outside the zone trying to get a hit. She took her walk and knew taking that walk that she just ended her streak. But that's what she's
smart. Yeah, smart move by her. And she absolutely responded the next day at bat. She went 2 for 3, had 3 RBI, including a huge homer that she had. And then Jazzy Burns responded with 1 RBI and went 1 for 2. Des Spearman, as we talked about, wholly responded 2 for 3, 3 RBI, a homer along with that as well. Haley Toney 2 for 3 and had 2 RBIs as well. And then Lauren Allred had 2 doubles in this game. She went 2 for 3 and also had an RBI. And Haley Toney got a little stolen base in game 2.
Okay, Haley. Haley is 15 for 15 on stolen bases this year.
Mind you, she's like our 9-hole hitter right now, right? like that's
she's
really impressive.
Yeah, than everybody else.
She's still doing crazy things.
Casually getting it done. But she's a great 9-hole hitter because she has speed, sneaky speed down there. So yeah, just domination everywhere. Lauren Allred, one of those doubles was about an eyelash from being a home run, hit off the top of the wall.
Getting there, very close. And then, yeah, we move into game 3, 12-4 win. This one we had to work. We still walked it off. Had to work a little bit more for it, but Sam started in the circle, had allowed 3 hits, 3 earned runs, and had 3 strikeouts and 2.2 innings pitched. Nyjah came in to relieve her with 2.1 innings pitched, only 1 hit and 3 Ks and 1 earned run from her. KT was back at it again, had a huge double that gave us 2 RBI. Jackie List went 1 for 2 and had an RBI. This was the Mia Williams game, went 3 for 4, had 2 RBI, and that was accompanied by a double and a homer. Taylor Panel went 1 for 3 and had an RBI. Jazzy Burns had a homer, went 1 for 2 and had 3 RBI with that. And then Lauren Allred went 1 for 2 and had 2 RBI. And we mentioned the stolen base party. Maya Davis, Mia Williams, Taylor Panel, Des Spearman, and Haley Toney all had a stolen base, accompanying up to 5 stolen bases in this game. Insanity.
That is insanity. Absolutely insane, actually. It is fun. This team, I don't know that we're going to break the stolen base record or anything because even last year's team didn't do that, but I need to go look what it is. But I think we're still, like, we got to be on pace to do similar to what year's team did. And last year was all about speed. It's like, we don't have enough power. We're just going to run. And this year, they just do it all. Like, that's what I'm saying is they're just dominating. And maybe it's, like, because people don't watch our games, but I'm like, guys, we weren't doing this last year. Against
we still made
equal competition. We were winning the games, but it was not like this. Like,
oh, no.
Not like this. You know, and so it's different for sure. Now, as long as they have it's about their headspace and their mind. It really is mental for this team because they really do have to lock in and strictly compete with themselves against teams like this. Because eventually they're going to be competing against someone else that has a similar mindset and talent set to them. And they're going to be throwing punches back at you every single inning, right? And they're going to have to respond. But that's what I liked about Sunday's game is like sometimes it's nice to see this team have to respond to some adversity. I put out a stat. It's like 73 straight innings, I think now, that we have not trailed following the bottom half of an inning. That's what it is now. But that streak was like in jeopardy with 2 outs in the bottom of the first inning of this game 3 because they had scored. And then Mia Williams hit the 2-run bomb. And then BYU scored 2 more in the top of the second. So it was in jeopardy again in the bottom of the second. And we responded again with like 4 or 5 runs that inning. And then it was fine from there. But every time that they scored in this game, we scored again. Even later when Nyjah was in, she gave up a home run. We scored in that bottom half of that inning. So stuff like that, it gives me hope or like are signs to me that this team does have that, oh, okay, let's go. They scored, let's go turn it on and go make sure we match that kind of vibe to them. And when we asked Panel about that after the game, she said, yeah, like, of course we want to make sure we match it every time. And then people are going to say, well, why don't they just do that every inning? But, like, that's not how life works.
Right.
So, like, they do seem to have that ability to turn it up. But that's really all it is with this team. The talent's there. Like, I don't care what people say. They're not watching the team. They're silly. So if you're someone that's buying into the haters, trust me, we're at every game. We watch them when we're not there. This team is obscenely talented. Like, obscenely talented.
Very.
Like, they could win every game for the rest of the year, and I wouldn't be shocked. I'm not even kidding. Now, I think they're probably going to lose a game or two, but I wouldn't be shocked if they didn't. You know what I mean? Like, that's how talented they are. It's all mental for them. They have to stay locked in, because eventually teams are going to throw punches back. And some of that might come on the road when you're away from home. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's definitely been one of those seasons where, compared to last year, like, I'm just saying, like, my stress levels this season have been very low. Like,
It's
they
so
get a run,
chill.
like, I'm just like, oh, we're going to respond with, like, 4 more. Like, oh, we have All-Americans just casually at the plate. It wasn't like last year where it was like, it felt like you had to, like,
can we just
put in,
get back
like,
to this part of the lineup,
I know.
please?
Yes, yeah, literally.
No
Like,
offense,
it's like
but
everyone
yeah.
in the lineup. Yeah, it's just like everyone in the lineup can be a threat, and it's just, you're not, like, there's not a lot of stressing. So I'm just happy. I mean, because even BYU last year, we dropped a game, I think, in Provo last year to BYU. I mean, granted, it's a little bit of a different team, but still, they still had some really great people that we had to play against last year that were giving us troubles. And this year, we just were like, all right, like, go back to Utah. Enjoy your Easter. Like,
Yeah, thanks for letting us have Sunday off. Appreciate it.
yes.
Travel safe. God bless.
For sure.
Yeah, no, that's what they're doing. They're going, speaking of Utah, we are going to Utah this week. They were finally off this week, Tyler. They've had a lot of midweeks, but they're about to have a lot of midweeks starting next week. I think they might play something like 6 games in a row, 6 games in 6 days or something like that, coming up, maybe 5 in 6 days. 3 in Utah, and they play Utah Tech, I think, on Monday or Tuesday, and they play some other teams in the middle. So their schedule is about to heat up, but I don't know a ton about Utah except that they've been struggling like they'd struggle in every sport.
Yeah. They, I think,
Altitude,
even
though?
lost to
It does go off to be
Abilene
on the-
Christian,
Oh,
who is a 2-win team. So,
wow, that's one of
Utah.
ACU's one wins. See, this is a great mental test because they can't be going in there laughing like we are, but we're not playing.
Right.
So, yeah, it's going to be packed. I saw some people on social media saying they're driving like from California to watch Texas Tech play for Nyjah and KT, and they were like all in the comments saying, we're coming to watch y'all play from California. I guess that's a close drive. I don't know.
that's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like they're 26-13. They've played a few close games this year. They have gotten run-ruled by the nation's top teams like UCLA, people like that as well. They did have that They did win the series against Arizona State. They actually swept them, and Arizona State was ranked.
Kinsey Brown was not playing in that series, but yeah, they did.
Yeah. They did do that. It did look like they took care of business against Abilene Christian, but then the third game they played against them was when it got rocky, and then they just kind of got...
They played a 3-game series with ACU?
They did. They won 13-3, 13-0, and then they lost 4-9 to them.
They probably just don't have a deep pitching staff. That's asking.
Right. Looks like they lost to Kansas in their series. They got completely obliterated by UCF, but the last game, I think, ended in a tie because of drop dead time.
Oh, yes.
So... Yeah, that did not get decided. So
rare tie.
Yeah, it looks like they do have some decent hitters. I mean, 426 is their leading, and then they have a 360, 353, 333, and 331. I'm interested to see what their pitching is going to look like. This is probably
issue.
Yeah, I'm assuming that's what this is going to look like. Let's see. And okay, no, they have a few. All right, they have a pitcher. Oh, is that Shelby Jones, the one that doesn't know how to spell Shelby correctly? She's still there. 1.85 ERA, and then they have Haley Mistretti with a 2.25 and Racy Miranda at a 3.05. So I think they're kind of like I don't think they're a terrible team really. I mean, they just have had a few games where they have kind of dropped it.
Middle of the road
I don't know.
is what I'm seeing by the stats. They're pitching. They're actually the 3rd ranked pitching team in the Big 12. There you go.
I'd believe that. These stats look pretty good
in hitting. So, yeah, good test for our hitters. The 2nd ranked
their
team we've already
RPI?
beaten in UCF. I think they're in the 60s. I looked it up the other day.
60s. Okay.
Something like that. So it's not a terrible
So they're
RPI.
bubble team-ish. They got to work their way.
But
Yeah, probably
they're
not.
going to need to get some wins. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But that Arizona State thing's probably carrying their RPI because, the computers have no idea that Kinsey Brown was out, I believe, for that series.
Right.
The computers don't care. They just see Arizona State top 25 team. They won a series. So, yeah, good pitching team. 2nd best pitching team we have faced in the Big 12 this year, behind UCF, who's 2nd in the conference. We're very by and far. Oh my God, our stats. If we were not Tech fans, I would hate us so much. We lead the Big 12 in batting at 404. The next closest team is Arizona at 363. We lead the Big 12 in pitching at 1.67. The next closest team is UCF at 2.54.
That's almost a whole
close, and that's
run.
why we're top 5 in the country in both. That's why when people are like, you're playing in the Big 12, I'm like, okay, what about all the other Big 12 teams? Why does not Arizona not have these stupid stats?
Right.
Anyway, I'm gonna stop right
There.
now. We have other things to talk about. They're doing the damn thing. They just have to keep doing it. And hopefully Logie Quiroga gets healthy. She hasn't played, but she looked spry running out of the dugout to celebrate and stuff. So no idea what's going on there. That was questions we got, but we'll find out. I think there was a media availability today, maybe with Glasgow. I haven't seen it posted, but if someone asks, then you can probably find it on YouTube. I couldn't go, so. Any final thoughts before we close out with Portal Talk?
And yeah, just support softball this weekend. They'll be on the road. It'll be a good little series in Utah, and yeah, let's get the win.
Let's get the win. We will be watching. It's a little bit nice. I'm gonna miss them, but it's nice. Get our lives back in order.
Yeah.
Not having sporting events in person for a while, and it came at the perfect time because oh my goodness, Tyler, the portal is portaling. It was fun last year from a standpoint of we were just having to dig for diamonds. I'm telling you right now, there's diamonds coming to this campus right now. There's one on campus right now, but you didn't have to dig very far to find it. It's like bright and shiny, and everyone knew about it already. Like it was on someone's finger, and we stole it off their finger, and it's hopefully going to be at Texas Tech now. We'll see, but they're all going to have a lot of suitors. But we're going after some really talented players. Like I'm not trying to say any of them are all Americans, but all of them. At least 3 of them could be. I'll say all of them could be All-Americans before they graduate. They're all top players. The one on campus today, spoiler alert, I've just kept it from you long enough. It's been on Reddit or Sports. You could kind of read it by now. But if you don't want to pay for it, well, now you get it on Sing Scarlet. Desiree Wooten from Colorado. Y'all will remember her if you watched our game against them. She is the big reason we lost that game. She just refused to let them lose, and she just makes big, tough buckets. She can hit mid-range shots. A lot of people aren't fans of the mid-range. I get it, but she can make them, kind of like Senna Collins type, where if you need someone to make a mid-range shot, she can hit threes. hit it at a 35% rate, shooting about 4 a game, by far her best of her career. So if that carries over to her senior year, that's big. Is a good little ball handler. She didn't play point guard for them because she was behind Walker there. I don't think she's maybe ever really played point, but I think she has some point guard background in her. I don't think that's necessarily what we're looking at her as, but she can assist it pretty well. She'd be a senior. She's a redshirt junior this year, so she'd be a fifth-year senior at that, so old. Led Colorado in scoring, 13.5 points per game, 3 rebounds per game, 2.5 assists, and 1.6 steals. One of the better defenders in the conference for sure. If there was like a true like first and second team, third team, all defensive team, I wouldn't be shocked if she had made it. She actually was on the all defensive team and the second team all, it says ACC, but it's not that ACC. It's the American Conference, wherever North Texas was in. That conference is where she played her first 2 years of her career. She went at it with Sydney Love when they were at UTSA. They know each other, so maybe that'll help us. Wouldn't be shocked if Sydney's on campus right now, the one giving her a tour. I don't know. Just saying. Could be happening. Maybe she's her host. Maybe she's staying with her. They went at it in their time in that conference, and she's really good. I wonder if we kind of looked at her last year in the portal. I can't remember because I vaguely remember us maybe touching base with her, but she had already kind of locked in with Colorado. But second time around, she's from Texas. I think she wants to come home to Texas. There's a lot of schools that are interested, but we're one of her first visits. Let's lock her in. She put up 21 points against Baylor in the Big 12 tournament, 17 in their NCAA tournament game. Scored it in double figures 28 times. You heard me say that about her last week because I talked about her in our preview as players to watch. Well, this is why. She's on campus. As far as I know, she's their first visitor, but again, if this team's sneaking into their stars, they might be. But that is a big one, and that would be a way to start your portal class for sure. And I'll let Tyler talk about her if he has any thoughts, but I'm just saying the other guards you're going after, we could have the best backcourt in the Big 12 if you get her and the other two.
For sure. Yeah, what I love about Wooten is, like, if you look at her season averages and stats, she actually improved at Colorado. And that's not saying anything about,
she was on a good team.
Toughness.
Good
yeah,
players.
like, really great team with great players too, but like I think that just shows on how much of a hard worker she's going to be, because a lot of times, like, okay, like let's say we see someone in the portal and they were averaging like 20 points at some mid-major at a group of 5, you're like, okay, you have to subtract like 5 or 10 from that. No, she's averaging about the same that she was against even like lesser competition in the American, and now she's over here putting up those same numbers, if not better, in the Big 12. And I mean, Colorado, like they were just like us till the very last day of the regular season. They were in the running to win the Big 12 title. As a matter of fact, they probably could have won the Big 12 title if they wouldn't have dropped, I think, a game near the end of their season. So I mean, very, very good team, very, very great player. She did give us troubles, but I'm super excited if we can get her to commit here, because she's going to be a huge asset to our team.
She's a dog. She's not afraid to take big shots. She's not afraid to go create. She can create for herself, which I think is important. We saw why that was so important when you get to teams like LSU that are good defensively. If we couldn't freedom of movement, is what Gerlich talked about. If we don't have a lot of freedom of movement, we struggle to hit shots. I think that's part of the reason they're going after certain people, because Bailey and even Snowden, to a degree, once she got going, were the only people that could really create their own shot in that game. They're going out and getting people that can create their own shot if it comes to that, but they can also play within the system and hit spot up shots when it gets to them as well. And my favorite part about her is she's a defender. I just don't want us to get too far away from people that can't play defense. Now, you need shooters. You can't go all in on people that play defense and can't shoot. That's never going to go. You can't teach someone how to play offense. You can sometimes teach them how to play defense, but you can't. It doesn't work the other way. She's someone that does both. And they didn't press at Colorado, but she would be very good in a pressing scheme. She's averaged 1.6 steals just in a half-court defense. Imagine that getting a chance to havoc people full court. She's going to be a problem. I'm just envisioning that she's going to commit here. But she has other teams that are very much after her. There's some crazy numbers that are out there. I don't know if they're true. It's hard to know, like, what agents are sneaking out there as far as money offers and stuff. So I don't like to get into that. But she deserves it if she can get it. But I think she wants to go somewhere she can win and obviously make whatever she is worth. That's the whole conversation that it is above my pay grade. Literally. I would never understand that. Not in my era. But go do it. So she's one. Another player we've talked about before, Avery Jelmstead, is, from my understanding, I've been told she's coming on a visit. She's a former top 50 player in the class of 2026, someone that we were really high on and we're after for like 2 or 3 years. one of our top 3 targets in the class of 2026. Came down to her final school. She chose Utah. Just didn't quite work out for her there. But when she did get into the games, she's a shooter. She had 3 games this year with 4 or more threes, one with 5 threes against Houston, as well as 8 rebounds in that game when she finally got a little run. Her release is just insane. Quick release. Think of like an Adley Blacklock, but maybe her ceiling is a lot higher, what she could grow into. But that quick release is insane, and her form is just a little bit more consistent. But same kind of player, and she can shoot in transition, and she's 6'1", a little taller. Came out of high school is known as a good defender. Don't know if she had to show that off at Utah or not. I think she could stand to get in a good strength and conditioning program. I think she'll be a problem if she gets in the right one. I'm hoping that goes well. We'll see. Y'all know I'm a big fan of hers as far as, like, can't collect enough shooters. So, sounds like she's visiting. That's a hype if true. And the big one, guys, Bella Hines. I know if y'all been watching us in the tournament previews, I was making my pitch for Bella Hines on the show, straight up. And I just liked her even more than, like, very good kid, very mature, and a dog. And I made my pitch on the show for a reason. It's like, hey, Bella, if you want to enter the portal, please. That's not why she entered the portal. LSU fans don't come at me. She definitely doesn't even know that we exist. But I'm just saying that's why. She is also a former class of 2026 recruit of ours. And might have been her first offer, but one of her early offers in life, way before LSU even knew who she was, way before most people knew who she was, before she was flying up the rankings and became the number 30 overall player in that class, we had offered her because she's from New Mexico. Right across the way in Albuquerque is the 2-time New Mexico Player of the Year. So she knows this really well. She's just going to visit Texas Tech. That's all I'll say. We'll put out an article when it happens. Again, until they're actually here or whatever. Things change. It's fluid. Yeah, she's going to visit, and guys, she's so good. LSU wanted to keep her. I think they personally only ever signed her because they wanted to get Aaliyah Chavez, who's at OU now and is from Lubbock. They played together in AAU. They're really good friends. And I think that's why LSU offered her to try to get Chavez, and then that didn't happen. And so they just kind of had this kid on the roster. And then she ended up having to play because of some injuries and stuff. Who can guard Tessa moment? They went viral. You go watch that video right now. The one person in that huddle that instantly goes is the little freshman in the back. None of the starters. None of the other big, like, flashy stars on that team. Everyone just stared like I don't know, freshman. Put me in. And they did put her in. I'm not saying she shut her down by any means. She got kind of taking it to her as well, but she's a freshman and she was willing to go in that moment. She's a dog. This is how I described her to Texas Tech fans. She's Danae Fritz, delusional, level confident, but on both ends. And I mean that in the most complimentary way possible. She will ask to guard the hardest person on defense, and she will take every big shot you allow her to take on offense with pure confidence. And she was only a freshman this year, and she'll do it every time she's given the chance. But she's also a team player and very fundamental. Like, she's flashy. I talked about that a few games ago, like fit over flash or whatever, but if you can find a flashy one that's also a dog, that's Bella Hines. I very much believe in her a lot, as you can tell, because we've been recruiting for her a while. Texas Tech has, and so like we talked about her a lot. And I very much wanted her out of high school and was bummed when she went to LSU, but I think she learned a lot, and she wants to go somewhere that's going to let her play as she should. And she would start at Texas Tech.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is she wants to play. I mean, she even, and like for a while, like for the first, before she got tired, like she was holding Tessa pretty well. And then even Mulkey said in her press conference, I saw a player that needs to steal minutes from my own starters. Like, that's how good she was. Like, Mulkey was willing to throw her in the starting lineup.
Loves this kid. Loves her.
Loves her.
I'm sure. It just doesn't love her enough to not go over recruit, but loved her. So, how much? But played her hand a little bit there.
Get her here.
Call her bluff.
Yeah. Get her here, though. I mean, that's already super huge. I mean, you're looking for someone to replace a defender like Danae Fritz. I mean, Bella Hines can absolutely do that.
It's hard. It's a lot to put that on a sophomore. And so, I don't know if she's as good of a defender as Danae Fritz yet. We haven't seen it. But I know that she has Danae Fritz mindset. I know that she has the athleticism to be that. And defense, it's athleticism, it's skill, and it's 90% mindset. And Danae would say the same thing. She knows that. But it's an elite mindset to just believe. If you talk to Danae Fritz about any player in the country, If you talked to her about frickin' Paige Beckers last year, 3 years ago, if Texas Tech was going to play Caitlin Clark in the NCAA tournament, she would say, I'll slow her down. And she'd mean it, right? And that's what I mean by the delusional level of confidence. She thinks she can shut down anybody, slow anybody down. She doesn't think they're going to score 0. She's not stupid. But she believes she can shut anybody down and slow them down. Someone has to be that person on your team. I think Wooten has that in her, too, because Colorado put her on a lot of tough people. She guarded Bailey and gave her trouble at times with us. But get 2 of them on the team? I'm so excited when I heard that she was hitting the portal. I was walking into football practice yesterday when this happened because she came out and said she wasn't portaling, and I was all sad.
Yeah, like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, because she loved LSU too. Like, I'm not trying to throw shade. She loved it. They loved her. I'm assuming that they're going after some 2-guard in the portal, and she was told about it because they're going to be honest with her. They're not. Kim is Kim, but I don't think she's as scummy as people think. I'm sure they were honest and told her. So then she said, "Okay, well, I'm gonna leave because I want to play." And I think that's it. People are saying she's chasing a bag and stuff. I don't know her, but interactions I've had, what I've heard about her, I don't think that's it at all. She deserves money, and she will be paid no matter where she goes. That's the world we live in. But I don't think that's... LSU has money. She wants to play, and she deserves to play. Gerlich said it herself, and I'm not saying she was making a pitch to Bella Hines, but she did say it in that arena in the press conference. There's teams out there that have All-Americans sitting on their bench. They're just willing to sit there, and I don't understand why. She said that in the press conference. And she said, I'm not necessarily talking about them. Like, she was, like, trying to... Again, I'm not saying she was talking about Bella, but it's true. All over the country, there are. And she's like, I don't get why you would do that when you could go somewhere you could play. That's all Bella's doing. And she couldn't just... Like, Wooten and Bella Hines alone, add in Avery and some others that I'm not going to name, and we'll talk about if the time comes. That's a Big 12 contending team, if they get bigs to go along with them. Yeah. And she's young. Now, we'd be very young. Very young. But that's the kind of young I can live with. For
sure. I mean, you can build it. And we just extended Gerlich. That's the big news. So we almost forgot to talk about.
I forgot we didn't put it on the outline because it happened today. Yeah.
Got a 4-year extension. So Gerlich will be here. So, I mean, that's perfect. Get these really star players. And then in those 4 years, I mean, heck, she could build a dynasty. I mean, you saw UCLA win, and Corey Close was there for 15 years before she finally got the big title. So,
Even got to the national championship. I mean, they just made the Final Four last year for the first time in her tenure, I think, right?
Yeah.
And then back-to-back years, and then made that. Yeah, it's doable.
And I mean, and you have a star, potentially star big, and Stephanie too. I mean, maybe we're doing the UCLA copycat type thing. Who knows?
UCLA winning was really good, I think, for programs like. I mean, UCLA has a bigger this brand and this thing, but it has taken a while for her to build it, and she did it her way, and she's always talked about that. I love their saying, the floor is our talent, but the ceiling is our character. I feel like that's how Gerlich coaches as well, and that's why this past year's team did what they did. Is their talent was they were good basketball players, but the character of last year's team was in another stratosphere, like elite. And if you can match that with talent, like Hines, like Wooten, Avery Jelmstead, some others that we'll talk about this episode and others, that's when it gets scary good. That's when you have a UCLA type team. Michigan's probably a more fair prototype. They're very young. They've been doing it with freshmen and sophomores and got to the Elite Eight this year. Why could that not be Texas Tech next year? I'm just saying. They need some more pieces, but those are 2 really good ones. As far as they might be sneaking in other people, but as far as I know, those are the first 2 visitors, and I think Avery is later. And there's plenty of others coming as well. Some other names to watch. We talked about her. Is it Pania?
Pania, yes.
Pania Davis, New Mexico, formerly at New Mexico Junior College. So we recruited another. This is a theme. Everybody that we're bringing, we've pretty much talked to before. That's how recruiting works. This staff has always been after good players. They just have not been able to get them to believe in what was happening here. But now they believe because they saw it. And so they're circling back on these people. Pania Davis was at Florida State this past year. 6'6", more of like a defensive shot blocking big. They can get out on the perimeter, set screen. She'll take some threes. Didn't finish it at a great clip. These are all things that could be worked on, but I do think we're very much in the running there. I think she'll take a visit to Texas Tech again. Maybe she doesn't need to because she's already seen it, but she knows the staff, and we're in the running for her. That would fit that. senior experience big to help the freshmen come along that are Stephanie Even, whatever she's going to be classified as. But Jada Kearney, who's 6'5", 6'6", very similar type to Pania that she could learn from. So that's one to watch. Aaliyah Moore, portal out of Texas recently. That's an interesting one that I've maybe heard some mutual interest there. Haven't heard anything about a visit, but I wouldn't be shocked if she is on campus for a visit. If those things come together, I'll let you know. Obviously, there's financial stuff. All that stuff has to be in play there. But she used to be very good at Texas. She was a back-to-back double-digit scorer for Texas, even when they went to the Final Four, I think 2 years ago. So the first year, I guess last year. Then she tore her ACL at some points. She missed all of this year injured. There was a lot of people saying she had like done an article or something, media, that she was kind of just going to retire and get into sports media. And then she hit the portal. And so clearly, maybe a Sonata Collins type decision, out of the game for a year, and she's going to come back and use her 5th year of eligibility after all. That would make sense as that experience big as well. Michaela, I don't know how to say her name. Marshall, I apologize. She's from Lubbock. She was the American Conference Player of the Year, Freshman of the Year for Tulsa. She's from Lubbock, finished her high school career at Abernathy. We didn't offer her out of high school. She didn't have any D1 offers out of high school, but kind of went and proved it a little bit at Tulsa. I don't know that she's going to end up here, but I do think there's been talks there. It's just like, is the role what she would... I don't think we necessarily see her as a starter right now with some of the other names. But she's a bucket for sure. She needed a lot of shots to be a bucket at Tulsa, but she's a bucket. What?
It was Tulane, not Tulsa.
My bad. Sorry.
I think, yes.
Too many T sounds.
Yeah, too many T sounds, and they're all in the same conference.
Yeah, Tulane. Yeah, she was really good. Averaged about 13 points a game, I think. I think she'll get better as she goes. She's a really good spot-up shooter, so I do think around better players, maybe she won't need to chunk as many shots, and so those efficiency numbers will get better. I've heard Oklahoma State has made a run at her recently, though, so we'll see if she wants to be home, be a role player, or if she wants to go to a team that has nobody on their roster. Wouldn't blame her. And there's no shade in that. We're just talking about go where you can play. And
right.
So that might be the decision there, but it's early in the portal. Paul Meyer Mbu, probably butchering that, but I laughed when I saw this come up. I haven't heard anything about her as far as being connected to us, but Talia Goodman put her in a report earlier and said that we're one of the 4 schools that have been in contact with her. I haven't confirmed that myself, but I don't know why she'd lie. So I laughed because that player was on my list of Analytic 11 last week when we did that episode. She was one of those players that happened to pop up in my sort. Rhode Island forward. She's listed as a sophomore, but I think I read somewhere she's played pro or played in a university in France for a year, so the NCAA actually sees her as a senior. So anyway, might only have 1 year of eligibility left, but 6'1", kind of like a better version of Mimi Sonogo. Like when I watch her tape, maybe a little more, way more skilled and can get out on the perimeter a little bit more, block shots a little bit more athletic, but like has a similar bulldog style to her game. Rebounds it, blocks about 1.6 shots a game. A little undersized for a forward at this level is my only concern. But there's plenty of 6'1" forwards that have excelled in the Big 12 if you just have that elite athleticism to go rebound and stuff. So I'm not shocked. That's a good defender that we're looking at. She was like all A10 player, conference player. I think Utah and some other Big 12 teams are after her as well. And then I'll just say hold on to your butts for some other people and some names that have been murmured about. Yeah.
Exciting.
That time of year. I'll say when. People are going to sign.
Right.
Will Wooten, maybe, for all we know, maybe she's already said, I'm in, and she's going to announce. I don't know. We'll find out. Head on a swivel, people. It's head on a swivel time of year, but she also might be taking more visits, but I hope not. I hope she loved it so much. She said, why would I want to waste time going somewhere else when I can lock it in right here, pick my little jersey number before anybody else gets to, and say I'm going to be here. Pick out a locker. First one to pick out a locker. I mean, these are important things. First one there. Why don't you do that now? Making the pitches that matter right now. We'll see what she does. Obviously, we'll have videos out where we show film and we do all the things, tell all the stories. Tyler will dig up all the fun human interest stories on them. I'll dig up some press conference clips like we always do. We'll make sure you know her really well. I will say this about her. I got to know her a little bit at the Big 12 tournament because Colorado was one of those teams I was doing some ghost content for because they were on the other side of the bracket from Texas Tech. And so I could do work for both of them even if both teams made it far. Fortunately, Texas Tech didn't. So then I was just there covering Colorado the rest of the week and got to talk to her a little bit in the media stuff. I really like her personality and her mindset and stuff. And I don't, y'all know, if you watch her show, I don't just say that. I wouldn't say I didn't like it. I just wouldn't mention it. I'm not mean, but I'm bringing it up for a reason. I think she has the type of mindset that would fit in here. As Bailey Maupin said at the end of the little video that we put out, if you don't believe in the culture said, if you don't believe in what we're doing, maybe choose a different program. I think Desiree would be all about the culture that Texas Tech has.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I think what's cool about Desiree Wooten is, like, other than, I guess, Snutta, who I had that year off, I mean, we have, like, I mean, she commits here. I mean, that's huge that we got a, like, Power 5 conference starter, that's going to come in and add to our program.
All these people, they're all
yeah, because, like, we were getting, like, players, like, even, like, Jalen and Danae, like, they were, like, role players for their former teams. They just weren't at the starting level. So now you're putting in, like, Colorado's leading scorer in the Big 12. I mean, you throw her in the mix. Okay, now we're we're cooking.
Rest.
Like, it shows the resource investment that a year of winning and finding these diamonds in the portal. Now that foundational group is leading the way for bigger opportunities for this program to get back to where it needs to be.
Yes, retweet. Like I guess Avery and Bella would fall in the category of players of sort of that we gone after in the past that didn't have big roles, but they're even higher, more talented, more in the Jalen Bristow bracket.
Right.
But yeah, this is a good point. Even Snutta didn't play last year, but this is a leading scorer for a Big 12 team. She's going to slide right in and she's not going to miss a beat. You know what you're going to get, and I'm sure that's why we're after. I know that's why a lot of other teams were not the only people interested in her. Make that clear. And our coaches are going to have to do the damn thing. But I really hope she likes it here and wants to be closer to home. And Sydney Love's going to put in a good word for us. And I'm sure she knows some of our other players. I think she's a former Cy-Fair athlete as well. Bella Hines played for Cy-Fair. Some past players have as well. Some other players have. So it's a organization we get a lot of players from. So I think that coaching staff kind of trusts our coaching staff as well. So hopefully it went well. Hopefully it continues to go well tomorrow and the rest of her visit. And she doesn't leave. Just go ahead and get an apartment and stay.
Here. Yeah.
It's fine. You can be here for the rest of the visitors. You can be their host. And then you can come on the show, Desiree, if you're watching an hour into the show. Still. You can't come on the show until you commit and sign the dotted line, because we don't give out those invites to anybody. But then you can come on the show.
It'll be hype. It'll be fun.
All right, well, that's what we got. Oh, men's basketball. I really don't have much news except for in Grant we trust. Everybody's gone. Christian Anderson's going to the NBA, as predicted. He didn't say he was portaling, though. I think there was some trepidation that he was going to say, I'm entering the portal and declaring for the draft. He just said, I'm declaring for the draft. So sounds like he's going to go pro no matter what. JT's obviously still here because he's injured. Don't know when he's going to play, though, given the timetable of his injury. I think Josiah Mosley is still around, but I think everyone else has either graduated or left, including Petty, announced today, which was highly rumored. I don't think it's like a bad blood thing. He just wants to go closer to home, and I get that. He's from the West Coast, and he was originally going to Stanford, and he tried it out, and I think his family just wants to watch him play. And there's nothing wrong with that. You only have so many years. Like, you should be closer to home, so I would expect him. If he ends up like on the East Coast, then I'll be like, well, take it all back. But it sounds like he's going to go closer to home, which is fair. And they got to get back to work. And I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I really wanted Petty, but they have a really good freshman in Jakari Spear coming in. He's one of the best freshmen we've had. He reminds me a little bit of Jalen Ramsey, if you remember him a few years ago. Just athleticism. Like, just will yam it on people. TJ Shannon a little bit type athleticism. As your point guard, he'll just be very young. And I think maybe the rest of the roster could have stood to be shook up a little bit anyway. Watts and all of them are gone. Maybe Donovan Atwell 5th year is coming with the new eligibility rules. That would be hype. and they'll build around it. They need to go get a big. They've been connected to the Kansas big. I don't think that's actually true, though, so I don't know what's going on there. There's been like a weird crystal ball to Texas Tech for the guy from
I saw that.
Florida, and I don't think that's true. So I don't know if that was a clerical error by On3 or whoever did that or what, but it's since been removed, and he's been listed nowhere near us. But who knows? Grant is very secretive about these, so you will find out when they're on campus because there's too many good reporters that cover these teams. They will know when they end up on campus, but before that, teams really usually can't figure out who we're showing interest in because they just don't like to tip their hand. Which I think is kind of silly because the agents are talking to all the teams anyway. But I get it. It's fine. Maybe they don't want the fans to know so they don't get their hopes up. Who knows the reasoning behind it. But I assure you, every team that if an agent wants to tell another team that Texas Tech's in on a player, they will tell another team. There's no secrets going on in this world. They'll even tell the media. Speaking of sometimes I get DMs from agents, and I'm just little old me. And they're like, so-and-so's been talking to Texas Tech. And I'm like, oh, yeah, cool. They want people to tell them.
Right.
They want, because that helps them get buzz.
Yeah.
It's how that world works.
Messy. A very messy world.
It's wild, yeah.
But yeah, I think, and I mean, we kind of talked about this anyway. Like, we kind of figured, I mean, granted, some of these have been, like, shocking. You obviously wanted to keep. I would say, like, Groves and Petty for sure. Like, I wanted to keep. And then, was it Leon that had a really good performance?
Just never got playing time, though, so I don't blame him. Yeah.
Never got playing time. But, I mean, I think we kind of expected Grant to kind of clean house and honestly have more of a defensive identity team, what he's more used to coaching. I feel like this year it was like, yeah, you have the offensive firepower, but, I mean, golly, we were giving up 90 to 100 points. It seems like a game a lot of times. So I feel like he's just now, getting the team that he wants, and maybe we'll finally see, maybe a more drastic improvement, I guess. I mean, last year was still great, but we'll see maybe more on the defensive end.
The expectations, like, obviously they still finished the year in the top 25, and they still made the second round even without an All-American that was hurt. So, like, they had a great year, and they would have definitely gone on a run if JT was healthy. He can't help some things like that, but yeah. But Grant is a big believer in what I talked about earlier, though. He loves defense, but he is also a big believer that if you don't have shot makers on your team, you won't win. So he likes to go out and collect offensive players and then teach them how to play defense. I think he tried to do that this year. And it just didn't click for guys like Watts and some others. They just never are going to be good defenders. And they need to be on teams where they can be hidden a little bit better. And just didn't work in our system. So, maybe he'll find a better balance of, like, shot makers that have shown at least a little bit of defensive capabilities. Because I'm on record saying it. So don't say I didn't warn you. I did Watts was one of them that I did a feature on, like a solo video on for men's basketball. Go watch it right now on Sing Scarlet. I did a whole, there's like a 3-minute breakdown within that video where I'm showing clips of his horrible defense. And I'm like, the one thing about this guy that concerns me is he is terrible at defense. And he was, like, missing screens, like, not communicating, getting beat backdoor. And I was like, yeah, it's because he's, like, over helping. Like, he seems eager. He wants to be good, but, like, he's just not good. Maybe Grant McCasland will get him right because he's always shown that he will. That's what I said on the show. And he was the same way here. He's very eager. He plays hard. He just sucks at defense. He doesn't have it's a mind. I'm not saying he's dumb. I'm just saying he doesn't seem to understand how to read screens and all the things.
Yeah. Yeah, you did call it. I remember that video.
So it was on tape, and I know the team saw it too. They were
Right.
just hoping they could teach him, and they couldn't. So maybe they're going to look for guys that can shoot and also can read a screen. Because it was really the screening actions that killed this team all year. Nobody knew how to read a screen
Right.
all year. It was painful. I even asked
Very
Grant about it
painful.
early in the season in a press conference. And he's like, yeah, we gave up 30 points this half on screening actions. I was like, yeah, that's what I'm asking. And then he went on this long thing about it. So they know for sure. But it'll be interesting. I think when you count Grant McCasland out, that's when he starts to do his best. So I'm never going to do that. We'll see who gets in there. Even if they have a more under-the-radar portal class, maybe that's good for them.
Yeah, fine.
They have the
Your
money,
gems
though,
from the
so.
portal. Yeah.
If they're not going to use it all, though, if you would like to pass them on to the other side of the Womble, I'm sure they'd take it. Teamwork
for
makes
real.
the dream work. All right. That's all we got. Watch softball. Baseball's also playing, I'm sure. Again, guys, we got sports to cover. They're trying to figure it out. I hope they do. But softball is in Utah. 3 games starting on Friday. ESPN Plus, trying to keep that number 1 ranking. Got to win all. They have to win all these games, if we're being honest, considering their opponent. And then it gets interesting. Some really good games ahead after that, if they can get through this unscathed. We will be back. We could be back before next week with an update, because it's portal season. We will start getting all that info out. Follow us both on social media, of course. I'll be tweeting stuff as well on my personal. Tyler, who knows? Just follow Tyler on social media. You should anyway. And we'll be tweeting on Seeing Scarlet, and then Red Raider Sports. There's a whole forum where, if you want to chat about the portal, there's a whole, I don't know what it's up to now, 20 pages and counting, a thread about the portal where people are asking questions, and that's probably where we can answer it. If you're not on Red Raider Sports, I'm not trying to hide anything. Just ask me on social media. I'll answer you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's all I got, Tyler. Anything for you?
Support all your Texas Tech teams this week.
Yes. Track.
Yes. Track all the things. Yeah. Hopefully we cook in the portal.
Oh, and I'll open up next week's show saying this, but because it just hit my brain, anyone that's made it this far, say a prayer for Riley Kuiper. Seems to be doing okay, but she's a former Texas Tech soccer player. She's at LSU now. She was just diagnosed with cancer. She just announced it on TikTok the other day. She seems very much in good spirits and like everything's headed in the right direction, but it's very early on the process and biopsies and all that. And she's taking it well and smiling through it and joking through it, you can tell. But she's very young. She's like 19, 20. She was a freshman goalkeeper for Texas Tech and then obviously transferred to LSU so she could play next year. But really good person. And I saw that and just tragic. But she seems to be taking it well, and hopefully it sounds like they caught it really early. And the LSU, the medical team's really done great by her. So former Red Raider, always a Red Raider in my eyes. So say prayers for her. You can go reach out to her on social media if you'd like to. Again, we'll open the show next week with that because that just hit my brain. But anyone that made it this far, there you go.
Prayers up for Riley. I did not know that. Wow.
I just saw it the other day. Yeah. She just announced it. It just kind of happened the last few days. So yeah, prayers to you, Riley. Best wishes. If you need anything, you know where to find us. That's all we have, though. We'll end it now. And we'll see you when we see you. That's the time of year we're in right now. Could be tomorrow, for all we know. Who knows? All right. Wreck 'em.
Wreck 'em.